And just before we went out, I said, lads, have 3 guys with less talent ever gone out in front of more people? This is an authentic passion. And we always kept that right at the forefront, even though what we were doing was ridiculous. We never made it with any science or calculation. We just made the best car show we could.
Top Gear. That really was a big hit.
Yeah, it caught on, didn't it? Yeah, it was remarkable. I'd done car shows. I'd done radio for years. Moved to the south to get a job at Renault in the press office so I could get to know the editors of the car shows, which I duly did, one of whom, Pete Baker, saved me and gave me a job on Granada Men and Motors making little car shows. And then eventually, after years and years and years of doing that, I auditioned for the new Top Gear and got the job.
When you got that job, what were your expectations of the role of the
Well,
show?
initially I cried and opened a bottle of champagne with my wife. Oh, God, yeah, it was it. Well, I'd spent my whole life trying to do that, so it had worked. Yeah, it was a huge moment. But we just thought we'll make a car show. I remember the conversation in White City, BBC HQ, with most of us, it's before James joined, but the rest of us were all in place. And weirdly, some of the people we still work with now, we were all in that room. And we all said, right, these are the ground rules of Top Gear. It's about the real world. Cars that people really buy. No supercars. No foreign travel. We're only going to drive proper cars that people buy in this country. And then that didn't last very long at all. We realised, that's not what people wanted, not what we wanted to make. We never made it with any science or calculation. We just made the best car show we could. And we were lucky. Things aligned. The world wanted that show. 3 misshapen blokes talking about their passion. But I do think you'll have watched that pottery show. I don't care about pottery at all, but watching people who are so into it, the lovely chap cries when somebody does something. It's like, wow. Watching people engage with, indulge or share their passion is incredibly compelling, whether it's for making pottery or baking or dancing. It doesn't matter. Or cars. It doesn't matter.
I want to know more about why. Like, why did people love it? You're touching on some psychological elements there, but what is it doing for the viewer at home in terms of what is it giving them? Because it's not just cars.
No. It was. We were still a car show, but we always used to say you don't have to be a car nerd to watch it. We do that for you. I think it was a means of escape, but through a relatable portal. Because you could look at all of us 3, and let's be honest, we're none of us Brad Pitt. We're none of us any good at anything, really. You could. I think people would always find they'd identify with one of the 3 of us. Am I the little short, squeaky, brummy one, or I the more graceful, long-haired, slightly fat one, or the really big, fat, shouty one? Which one am I? Which one? And you'd fall into one of those camps. And so that would sort of take you along with us on whatever adventure we were going on. It's why we ended up making today the big trips, because that's what people liked, the proper escape. The one thing that troubles me, though, is about that business about the subject being important. If you're going to make a TV show, a podcast, piece of internet content, whatever, about something, the subject leads. It has to. It has to have that authenticity and integrity to it, because we, the audience, will see when it doesn't. And cars, for some reason, are always... If somebody's going to make a TV show or a piece of internet content about it, they say, right, we'll do this thing about cars, okay, and then they don't get anybody who knows about cars involved in making it. But you wouldn't do that if it was baking or dancing or cooking or sport or football. I mean, you wouldn't. You'd want that baked in, because it's not so that you wrong foot your consumers, your listeners, your viewers, or catch them out or show off that you know more than they do, but you can demonstrate, this is real. This is an authentic passion. And we always kept that right at the forefront. It wasn't big, but it was there. Even though what we were doing was ridiculous, often.
How much of it was scripted per se? I was watching some clips earlier on, and there were such moments of brilliance. I was wondering, is that like a producer in their ear telling them to crack that joke or to like say that to him? Or is that just them being comfortable enough to be free?
The really good bits are in the moment. But I mean, that's easy to guess, isn't it? You'll have said some killer, funny, or incredibly moving things in the moment. That's when we do our best work, all of us. So we would always devise a broad trajectory for the whole thing. If we're making a special, it's expensive. So we can't just, we'll just get a Mongolia and see if some stuff happens. You've got to set something up. But that's the minimum you're going to come back with. And the best bits will be the unplanned bits, of course, always.
Was there a moment in the journey of Top Gear where you thought to yourself, fucking hell, this is really...
What?
This is big.
Oh, well, the surprising moment was day one, Studio One, Series One, standing in Dunsfold. So this is 2002, very early, or maybe 2001 we filmed it, I think. I can't remember. Long time ago. Standing on the stage. And, I'd always watched Top Gear because I loved cars. And I'd watched Jeremy on it because he's older than me and he was already doing it. And so as it was recording one, they played in the Top Gear theme. And my instant response from inside was, oh, Top Gear's on. Brilliant. Oh, I'm on it. I better concentrate. But yeah, there were key moments once when we were driving 3 cut price supercars that we'd bought. And we pulled into a petrol station. So this is early days. And everybody came out running to see us and to talk about the cars. And they sort of got that, oh, what are you boys doing? What are you up to now? And that's when we realized, oh, hang on, we've created something here. It's got a momentum of its own, which is great.
And it really did have a momentum of its own globally.
No idea why. Honestly, none of us have. We just made the best show we could. And next thing we know, we're walking out in front of 30,000 people on stage in South Africa or Sydney or Hong Kong or all around the world doing the live stage shows with people that loved the show. And we left. Why? We went out in front of 60,000 people in the Polish National Stadium in Warsaw. And just before we went out on stage, I was with the lads backstage and we have those earpieces and microphones so you can only hear each other, otherwise too much noise. And they're all, there's music playing. We were about to all drive out with some terrible stunts. I usually hadn't listened to the briefing, so there'd be a crash. And just before we went out, I said, lads, have 3 guys with less talent ever gone out in front of more people? We thought, no, that's ever happened. No, listen, it was just a serendipitous lining up of a need for a slightly anarchic approach. I don't know what happened. It was just a time. Came and went when we fitted.
Someone asked me on an interview I did earlier on, it was Arcadia magazine, they said, is there any guilt associated with your success? And it's quite a curious question. And it stunned me into a bit of a silence. Guilt. How does that question sit with you? Is there any guilt?
Same thing. Yeah, there is. Guilt is, it's slightly more refined than that. It's almost a why me. It's what? Yeah, because I'm still the little Birmingham lad that being a photographer wasn't for me. That's for other people. I can't do that. I can't actually be a photographer for real in the big world. And if somebody had said I could, run various businesses and be a television presenter and no, don't be daft. There's not guilt. It's being conscious of being the beneficiary of a great deal of luck. When I was younger, I went through a phase of, but I always had, luck often lands at 2 a.m. and you're the only one still in the radio station editing. So that's where, no, it's just luck. It really is. Because I got people who started in the same year as me, 88. And I got all the luck. I took some serendipitous decisions. I took some risky decisions. I stepped away from my only ever job with a company car back into broadcasting and took a massive pay cut. I took a massive pay hit when I joined Top Gear. They were risks, but they're only risks if they're freely made, given that they were the product of whatever it was in me that was driving me to do what I was doing. It was already going to happen. So I'm lucky because not only did that opportunity come along, but earlier in my life, something had happened and equipped me with the need to gain whatever it was I stood a chance of gaining from taking that risk. So I took that risk. So it's still luck.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.